got to rise above it. When you face a challenge, you got to rise above it. With your
One of my favorite things to do, one of my 3 favorite things to do, is to speak in front of a group. It's also to coach and to teach. So all of these come in play here because that's who I am. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Marian Henderson, or as some people lovingly call me, Coach Marian. At first I was uncomfortable with this, but I have grown into it. I actually kind of like it. So I am certified in case my husband's always telling me that that's important to let people know. Personally, I would rather have my work speak louder than my certification. That's where I come from. So I always forget to add that part. It's here because my husband lovingly...
You truly will take me home?
I truly will take you home. Wait, we're going to take Sandy home.
That's an extra.
Sorry. She's a very dear friend, and she wanted to be part of this. So, okay. So, like I said, that's there because I'm reminded. My husband, who is very, very aware of these things because of his work. So, I live here in Blairstown. I've been officially coaching for almost 5 years now. I have been coaching all my life in other ways. And as a coach, teacher, speaker, my mission and passion is to educate, enlighten, and empower. And it's not just to educate, enlighten, and empower, but to what? Women to their power of choice. I think as women, that's one of the first things we give up, is our power of choice. And for so many years, I myself did not fully understand, or appreciate that I had power of choice. Like so many women before me, I was caught in that trap of feeling and believing I have no choice. I can't, because you name it. It was he, she won't let me, I'm not supposed to, or what would they think, say, all of those stories that have been handed down to women from generation upon generation, and not just really women, but all of us from generation to generation. You'll get it better. So, and then there's that, I was always holding myself to a higher standard, striving for that perfection that was constantly eluding me. It was just not there. And really, I can assure you, striving to be perfect, which I think many of you have already walked that path, do not find it to be empowering. It's actually disempowering. So, how do I feel good about myself when I'm always trying to be perfect? I don't. And what was I doing? I was always letting myself down, never measuring up. And I don't know if you guys know about gremlins or saboteurs or anything like that, but mine was going crazy with me. And what do you think it was telling me? Yep, you got it. You're not good enough. Because I was never measuring up to perfection. And of course, I have to prove that gremlin's right, so what do? I start comparing myself to other people and what they can do and what I can't do. And oh my goodness, everyone can do so much more than me. And still, especially you're comparing yourself to the woman that does it all, and always looks gorgeous. And of course, I don't even find time to take a shower, let alone put on makeup. So, have you been there? Right? Because, and then of course, you just know it was not my fault. It was everybody and everything else. Because I wasn't willing to take responsibility for my life. And that's a dangerous, dead-end place to be. Because when you're there, there's feelings of hopelessness and despair. Yet, there are times I would step into my power and make empowering choices that created powerful shifts in my life and, of course, my family, which I'm going to share and talk about later. You know, and I, like many, have this whole dramatic soap opera upbringing that I could talk about forever. However, I'm going to skip that part and go to the points that I want to share and the lessons I've learned. Now, you all have paper. There's something I want you to write down. Because this is very... Oh, you want to get those out? Thank you so much. Here, just take one of those with it. And Sandy, too. Do you have a pen? Okay. This is what I've learned, and it's real. Safety is for children. Choice is for adults. Did you all get that? Safety is for children. Choice is for adults. And why is that important? It's the ability to choose that grants us the ability to change the environment and the experience we want to be having. So it's through choice that we change our environment and change the experience we want to be having. And what does that have to do with self-empowerment? It is exercising your power of choice when you choose self-love and self-empowerment to rise above it, tap into your own power, take an active role in your own life and health, be true to your core self. And it's out of my own experiences that I have developed this passion or gift for personal development and helping others. As a coach, many of you know I love what I do. In fact, I think I've been practicing this most of my life. And every experience, every circumstance of my life has led me to this place where I'm doing exactly what I was created to do and what I love: coaching, speaking, and teaching and sharing. What I love about coaching is that it focuses on the dream, not on the pain. And it is one of the most powerful tools that people have to achieve success. Coaching is effective because it gets you to from where you are right now to where you want to be. So it's a step-by-step, of course, progression. And it's not about giving advice, because giving advice is directive. Coaching is interactive. So, that's being said, let's be interactive and get into this presentation. Okay, as in all of my coaching experiences, what I like to do is set an intention. Every coaching session I have, I set an intention. One of the most important intentions I set is that I am the servant to what wants to manifest here and what needs to manifest. I am also setting the intention that there is a raised awareness of choice and the power in choice, and for you to recognize ways that you are, I used to say giving away your power. I choose now to say disconnecting from your power or surrendering your power. We don't really give it away. We always have it. It's inside of us. We just sometimes forget because of the stories and all that stuff. Now you have a little outline of what's going to go happening to here step by step. So the first thing I'd like to discuss with you is, what is you empowering you? First of all, it is my journey of self-empowerment through self-awareness, discovery, self-discipline, self-acceptance, self-care, and most important, self-love. Now, when I talk about self-love and self-this and self-that, how many of you feel that I'm talking about selfish selfishness. Does that make anybody feel that? Because it's important to bring that up and out if we do. Okay. That was my big issue. I had to get over that. I had to get over the feeling of being selfish because I wanted to love myself and I wanted to be empowered. So I in turn think maybe somebody else has that. So I am so pleased that you are all
Well,
past that.
I think to some extent, I can take that path of feeling selfish.
When you want to take care of you.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty common to women. And I think as we get a little older, we understand the importance of self-care and self-love rather than when we were younger. But it's important that, because if it is about selfishness that comes up for you, then we need to, just explore that a bit. However, I think we're saying we can all go past that. Great. Okay. So you know that Jesus spoke of self-love, right? When he said, you must love your neighbor as yourself. So if we don't love ourselves, how are we going to love our neighbors? You Empowering You is a women's group coaching program that I offer. You have me as your coach and a group of like-minded peers to support your growth. And this course, as I said, developed from my personal journey of self-empowerment and coaching others along this path as well. So imagine what it feels like to have so much self-love that you have tons to give back. Because that's what self-love is about. You fill up and you spill out. You also no longer see yourself as a victim or powerless. You learn through this course to let go of blame, shame, and unnecessary guilt. I mean, there are times we all feel guilty, and it's really, kind of there because we screwed up. But we don't need to berate and run ourselves down and unnecessarily and keep it going and keep it going and keep it alive. We need to let go of that. We also discover your voice of strength and clear intention. And think about, what would your life look like if you were to step up, step out, speak up, be heard, be connected, be empowered, and let me add, without guilt? What would that be like? Letting go of old patterns that no longer serve you. Getting what it really means to love yourself. And I'm talking about way beyond taking a bubble bath with candles. Setting clear boundaries and exercising your power of choice freely. So I'd like to share with you one success story from the You Empowering You group coaching course and this is important to me because I know where this girl came from. She says, Coach Marion, and she has choose in capital letters, all big. I choose to thank you from the bottom of my heart. For the first time in a very long time, due to your coaching, I'm looking forward to tomorrow and enjoying the ride big time, which is also in big letters. My perspective in life has shifted in a wonderful way, being part of this amazing group. Thank you so much for you. You were awesome. Also big letters. I'm continually shifting with your coaching, love, and support. It's wonderful knowing that you believe in me and accept me for who I am and still encourage me to become whatever I want to be. I love you. Thank you, wonderful lady, Carla. In fact, Carla loved her results so much, she joined again. So, and you can get more information from my website or talking to me personally. And that's all I'm going to say about that for right now. So let's go into what self-empowerment really is. To fully appreciate self-empowerment, let's talk first about the word power. Now, when I say power, what does that bring up for you? Anybody have any issues?
Strength.
Good. Okay. And a lot of people it often implies, has some negative overtones.
Control.
Yeah, and implies control over another and is often misused. So what I'd like you to do is just quickly write down 3 words you associate with the word power. Okay. So some of the words that associate, we've already talked about, is control and domination. Now, this is not for you to focus on the negative aspects of power, because that's going to limit your ability to understand and appreciate self-empowerment. However, if you did discover you have some negative thoughts or feelings associated with that word of power, please allow that to come up, okay? Don't try, push that down. It's important to allow it all to play out. So, excuse me, one second. See, my throat's a little sore from the screaming I did when I lost all of this. So we're going to keep nursing it with water. Okay, so like I said, allow those negative thoughts or feelings to come up. And what that will allow us to do is explore those feelings and examine them against the light of truth, and being open to the idea that there's another perspective of power. It's not all this side. You know, it's balanced. Because sometimes, you know, when there's this, it can have this seesaw effect. So we want to see that there's just different perspective. And the kind of power that I'm talking about is entirely different than control and domination. In fact, it makes you less manipulative of those around you, and certainly makes you more loving. I'm talking about this power in here. This power within yourself. Power over your perceptions of the world, how you respond to situations rather than react. And because that's where the power is, and you're choosing to respond rather than react, and knowing what is necessary for your own self-growth. Power to create joy, satisfaction in your life, power to act, and power to love. And this kind of power has nothing to do with anyone else. It's a healthy, in here, self-love and self-empowerment. Someone who doesn't own their own power spends their life trying to pull it out of everyone else, and they have nothing. So empowerment, now we go power, now we're going to go down to empowerment. Empowerment just simply means to gain knowledge and understanding. Now, many people are using that term empowerment kind of loosely these days, like throwing it out to, make it sound good, or as nothing more than a buzzword. Empowerment is much more than that. Empowerment is a process that challenges our assessments about the way things are and can be. It challenges our basic assumptions about power, helping, achieving, and succeeding. Then there's self-empowerment. And the first thing to know about that is that we all have it. Each and every one of us. The only difference between those who own and know their power and use it appropriately and those that don't is the internal belief system that they have, that they can't have the power. Empowerment means to gain knowledge, understanding. Self-empowerment means to gain knowledge and understanding of self. Yes, thank you. It is the ability to get yourself to do what you want to do. Stepping up, tapping into, and owning your power. Exercising that power of choice. Self-empowerment implies self-belief, trust, self-leadership, accepting full responsibility for the choices you made, as I just shared before this all started, and the choices you did not make, like waiting till the last minute. So, and then the consequences of those choices. Because even though we have freedom of choice, what's important to understand, every choice has a consequence. So that's something to consider too. Self-empowerment in its simplest form means taking charge of your own life, in your workplace, with your colleagues, in your home, with your body, your illnesses, and really you caring for yourself. Self-empowerment is one of the requisites of personal growth and success. So, as we look down, the next step is the benefits of being self-empowered. Why would you want to be self-empowered? Isn't it more fun to blame people? So, being self-empowered leaves you free, since you don't expect the rest of the world to fill you up. You're not always looking to take. You've got it. It's the ability to get yourself to do what you want to do. And if you do not own this kind of power, you lose your sense of peace. You're in a vulnerable place. When you empower yourself, it's like virtually tapping into your inner self and unlocking the power within to rise above it, whatever your personal it is. You tap into your own resources, stand in your own power, and own that you are the creator of your life with the power of choice in any given situation. Tapping into your strength is critical. This is where you discover your inner voice of strength, your champion, and clear intention. This is what strengthens you to rise above it in any situation and to go from victim to victorious. Self-empowerment is that feeling of knowing this is what you need or choose for yourself and then honoring it, not out of stubbornness or defiance. Out of self-love and self-empowerment comes a quiet strength of conviction that you are managing your life and your life is not managing you. It's only when you become powerful within yourself that you can be authentic and loving to those around you. Love and power go together. With power, you can really begin to open your heart. With no power, love is distorted. It's impossible to love others properly when you are running low or empty in personal power and self-love. It's also liberating and a bit scary. Liberating because you get to make your own choices and decisions. You live according to your own personal operating system and values. You're free from the anxiety of living up to the expectations of others. Yay! Who wants to say that, right? Yay! You experience the joy of being authentically yourself. However, on the flip side, there is a little bit frightening because you no longer can blame anybody else. You know, for your failures, your disappointments, you can't cling to childish, dependent security from others. You get to let go of the old you, even if that person is holding you back. However, once you empower yourself through personal responsibility, it's interesting how those fears begin to dissipate. You find that things are easier. Life is more enjoyable because you're creating it on your terms. Rather than reacting to life, you're learning how to respond to step back and evaluate. So, what's the secret? The secret is awareness. Once you're aware of what's going on, that is really important. So you have a personal self-empowerment assessment sheet in each of your packets, I believe. If not, I have them up here. Okay.
It's not big.
Wait, what? I have to do anyone else. Sorry. What's that? Oh, Carrie, you made that for me. See, you know, here's the thing. When you're self-empowered, that doesn't mean you do everything yourself. Self-empowered is self-empowerment is also about understanding. You know, I gave up all that being perfect, doing everything myself, and having it just so. So just take a few minutes if you don't mind.
Does everybody understand how to score? That if you agree with it, put 1 there. Sometimes you do it 2, and if you never do it, pretty close to never.
Close to getting it through.
I'm at 9.
Opening to new awarenesses. So,
Any thought provokers in there?
Oh, yeah.
alrighty. So, let's move on to ways you might disconnect or surrender from your power. Because, as I said, one of the first steps is in becoming self-empowered is to identify or recognize where you are disconnecting or surrendering your power. Are you disconnecting or surrendering your power to someone or something? Take a serious look at your life. Is it the way you want it in all areas? Do you have the job you want? Do you have the relationship you want? And that relationship even talking about with yourself. Do you have the kind of kids you want? Are you happy where you are living? Okay, here are some powerful power zappers saying, I don't know. You know, when you say I don't know, really kind of you do, but you don't want to get into the whole issue of what it might create. Whatever. I don't care. I should. I'm supposed to. What do you think? Should I? What do you think is best? when you are associating with friends that you're listening to for hours and they drain you at the end of the conversations. A job you're working very hard at and still not making ends meet. An abusive relationship. Kids who are very difficult to manage. And kids always get to be difficult at one point or another. The television set can also be a power zapper. When you focus more on fear and worry than getting up and enjoying a peaceful walk, wasting energy on the latest diet fads, rather than reading about what actually is the best way to eat and how to nourish yourself properly. These are all power zappers. And I've printed out some too for you that you can take. So you need to ask yourself, where am I giving up total control? How are you letting other people define or control you or your behavior? Who are you blaming for your situation? What is your contribution? And when you ask yourself that, what is my contribution to the conflict or life circumstance I'm in? Sometimes you don't always like that answer, but part of being self-empowered is accepting that answer. What are you avoiding? What excuses are you giving yourself and others for how you are acting or reacting? What are you tolerating? See, once you recognize your participation of these disempowering processes, you begin to break the cycle. Remember, the secret is awareness. So, what is your next step on your journey to self-empowerment? Will you make the choice to be self-empowered, to love yourself? Remember, it is a choice, and it's your choice. Self-empowerment and loving yourself. It's not a matter of shouting it out to the world that you're perfect and you are the best. Oh, believe me, I am not. It's the virtue of acceptance and contentment. When you begin to empower yourself, you then begin to feel contented and happy. I would also encourage you on your next step is to continue to examine yourself. Become thoroughly anchored in yourself and who you are on the deepest level inside of you. As a self-empowered woman, I encourage you to continue digging deep into yourself. Step back from your ongoing version of events and question your feelings, your memories. Keep challenging your belief systems. Your strongly entrenched and completely convincing worldviews that you've developed over a lifetime. And for those who choose, there is a place at the bottom of the assessment to write down a small next step that you're willing to take out of this. And for those that are brave and willing to be held accountable, turn them into me and I will follow up on them to make sure that you did it. So, what further resources are available to you? I just shared with you everything you need to start on your own journey of self-empowerment. You do have a choice, and a choice made with effort following is power, because power is in the choice. And what would happen for you if you dropped your stories? What would happen for you if you moved from a place of strength? That you stopped making things that aren't working for you more important than the things that are? What would happen for you if you took the time to belly laugh, mess up, and challenge parts of you that you forgot existed? What would get to happen for you? Honestly, I can't say, can I? However, I think it's worth finding out. Do you? Now, some of you will go ahead and make this all happen, the journey, and some of you will want to make it happen faster by joining the You Empowering You group coaching. Some of you may prefer to work with me one-on-one. Either way, please do not let this be shelf help. Do you know what I mean by that? You know, you come, you go, oh yeah, it's good, walk away and it collects dust. No. I want you to do something about this. And if I can be of help, talk to me. I'm pretty approachable. Well, I think so. And I'm very accessible. You can get a hold of me on the phone. I have Skype. I have email. Any of that. Let's set up a conversation and see if I can help.
Rise, 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 rise. Well, if you got a problem, you got to rise above it. When you face a challenge, you got to rise above it. With your back against the wall, only way to go is up. Rise above it. Come on and rise above it. When you think you know your mind is really made up. When your dues already have been paid. Gotta know where to go, where angels feet to tread. It's only you and me against the world, against the odds. If you got a problem, you got to rise above it. Oh yeah. And when you face a challenge, you got to rise above it. Rise above it.